Hello, colleagues. Dear colleagues, hello.
Okay, this is Michael Cunningham. I'd like to introduce you to our June 10th Belarus Awareness Month broadcast. And I'd like to introduce our intern, Kate Means.
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm an intern in this project, and I would like to introduce two of our leaders, Mike Cunningham and Ben Ramirez.
Hello,
Hello,
I'm Ben
nice to meet
Ramirez
you.
with the World Affairs Council of Austin. On behalf of our partners who have made this event possible, I'd like to recognize them and thank them. Of course, Del Valle High School and the Greater San Marcos Partnership, the Texas State University's Department of Geography and Engineering, the City of San Marcos, and of course, the Embassy of the Republic of Belarus in the USA. We are launching this new program on geography of genocide here for training and bringing educational opportunities for teachers and students throughout the state of Texas so that they learn about the terrible impact of genocide on humanity. And I'm really pleased to be partnership with Mr. Cunningham on this particular program as we plan to have a series of more programs throughout this current year. So thank you again, Mr. Cunningham. And I think the next item on
Now we're going to go to the mayors. Let's scoot down here. Okay, welcome.
Dear colleagues,
Yeah, okay, now we have to go back. Okay, now we have our mayor who's going to read the proclamation. And then after she reads the two proclamations, we're going to take pictures of her with our friend public.
You ready? All right, and I want to just hold up, I hope y'all can see it. This is how we do proclamations in the city of San Marcos. And whereas more people died per capita in Belarus during the Holocaust of 1941 to 1944 than in any other European country. And whereas the Holocaust eliminated more than 6 million people from the face of the earth. And whereas high school students studying this with experts, people, and students of Belarus help us to become better leaders of our nation in the future. And whereas inquiry-based learning is the best way to ensure that this dark period of history will never happen again. Now, therefore, I, Jane Hewson, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of San Marcos, Texas, do hereby proclaim June of 2023 as Belarus Genocide Awareness Month, and do hereby call upon the people of San Marcos to recognize the atrocities committed during this dark period, learn what happened, what led up to the events, so it can never be allowed to happen again. And testimony whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of the city of San Marcos, Texas, this 10th day of June of 2023. Do this one?
Yes.
Okay, and now I have, hope you can see this. This is greetings, be it known to all that Pavel Shidlovsky, Chief of Mission with the Embassy of Belarus in the United States, has on this 10th day of June 2023 been appointed an honorary citizen of the city of San Marcos, and in recognition thereof is presented with this certificate of citizenship presented this 10th day of June of 2023.
Now what we're going to do, since this is a virtual deal and we'll send this to you, we are going to stop screen sharing. And we will bring you up here, Large. Let me try to, okay, there we go. And we're gonna have the mayor and just smile, and we're gonna have the pictures, and we'll send you the pictures at the end of this, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so we'll start out with the official, go back to the screen. Yeah. Yeah, right to the side, yeah, okay, yeah. Hey, a little bit more. Okay, good. Okay, now let me have a picture of you, her, and I'll take that one. Oh, yeah, one each, okay, good.
Ready, Pablo?
Smile.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, so may I begin?
Yeah, one more time, look at here.
Just look up and smile.
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
good. Now, let's have one with Kate and Ben and the mayor, too. One more time. Please. Oh, no. Yes.
I learned a long time ago not to get pictures.
Okay, now while we're doing this, we also just, both y'all just hold it up like that. Okay, good. And this is the recognition from the mayor of Austin to make you an honorary citizen of Austin, Texas as well. So we have the mayor's representative, the mayor here. Okay. And then, once you give this to Kate, you get back up there a second. Okay, this is recognition of. Now, hand that to Kate.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh.
Congratulations, Kate.
Yeah, that's well, man. Okay. And that one, Kate, is, let's get close together. Okay, Kate. Okay, yeah, this is recognition of Kate's work on this project from the city of Austin. Thank you. And we'll go back to the program here a second, and we have some more accolades that we're going to share with you very quickly. And then first of all, we need to actually share something with the mayor, because we have given her a, Ben, you're gonna have to get back up there. Okay. No, it's all virtual. Well, here we go. Yes, if you don't mind. Okay. I'm trying to get this taskbar to, oh. Okay. Okay, now, as you can see, we're giving the mayor an honorary doctoral degree in geography for her contributions. This is kind of blur, okay. Now shake hands. Oh, you can't shake hands, it's like that. Fist bump with your left hand.
Shake hands, just not too hard.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. It's, look this way, look this way. Thank you so much. Okay. Now, these are the official proclamations that were given. Ben, you might want to just, could you do this? Or Kate, would you want to just read those off? Not read them off necessarily, just tell the cities and stuff. You want to do it, Kate? Yeah, let Kate do it.
So you want me to read that?
Just say the city and then, you know, the little general stuff like
These proclamations are from the city of Round Rock and the city of
clean.
Killeen. And both of them are recognizing the impact and importance of teaching about the Belarus genocide.
Okay, then we'll go to the next one.
The award on the left is to Pavel Shidlovsky by the city of Killeen, and it's recognizing his contributions and everything he's done. And this is from the city of Killeen. And then the item on the right is from the state of Illinois. It's a proclamation, again, regarding the Belarus genocide and its importance and the effects of the Holocaust on its people. And it's just recognized by the state of Illinois. This last article is from the state of Idaho, and it's again a proclamation recognizing the importance of establishing a Belarus Genocide Awareness Month.
We already gave you the honorary citizen award from the city of Austin. And we really appreciate you putting all this together for us today with the experts. And we wanted to share with you how important it was here on the States that we had several governors. Also, Pablo and myself and Ben were made honorary West Virginians, mountaineers, and so will the mayor be. And we'll try to make Kate as an honorary mayor, mountaineer as well. The states are taking this very seriously. This is a very important time in education, and the efforts that you guys are putting forth right here are really going to help us out to get the truth. I think part of our whole deal with this virtual museum that we're making on Eduside is that we need to try to get the truth out more, whether the truth, no matter what the truth is like. And you guys are doing a fantastic job over there in Belarus. And we're also aware of the geography of migration and stuff like this. So this is going to be a very interesting time today. So what we're going to do is I'll unstop our end. And I think this is the time that we are going to turn it over to Pablo. And he has some awards and stuff that he's going to give. And then we'll get into the speakers and Pablo. Thank you, sir. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. First of all, while the mayor is here, I want to thank the mayor for her presence, for her participation, and for her recognition of both June Belarus Genocide Awareness Month and of the honor of myself, the honorary citizen of San Marcos. I really appreciate it. I owe you a lot. I owe you a trip, and definitely when I'm next time in Texas, I will come and see you. I had a pleasure of visiting San Marcos just once, and of course I have to visit it more and meet more with the mayor and the good people of this great city. In turn, I want to show you, and I will first thing Monday morning I will mail it to Mike. I have a certificate. I will show you on camera. It's a certificate from the Belarusian Geographical Society for Jane Hewson, mayor of San Marcos, and she is awarded the honorary Doctor of Geographic Education. It's dated June 10th and signed by Alexei Yarotov, the chairman of the Geographical Society. I also have the same certificate for our common friend, Michael Cunningham. And I have certificate for Ben Ramirez, Executive Director, World Affairs Council, Austin. And 10 more certificates, which will be mailed very soon. I want to thank Mike and our friends in different cities and states for their recognition of the genocide against Belarusian people, and for their efforts to bring Belarus and the state of Texas and the United States closer together, despite the challenges of the current times. I also have, and I will mail it also first thing in the morning, the Memorandum of Understanding between the Belarusian Geographical Society and World Affairs Council Austin, signed by the chairman of the Belarusian Geographical Society, Mr. Yarotov. So this is a good beginning, and hope this memorandum will be filled with specific, concrete, productive work and results.
Hey, Pavla, one thing before the mayor leaves, could you hold up that honorary doctoral deal, and we'll take a picture again of her and if you could. Get up there.
Is this good?
Thank you. Just a sec.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
just to hold it
Thank
there,
you.
Pavel.
absolutely.
Have them move it over a little bit
Could you move it over
to the left.
to the left, to your left?
right. To your right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, to your right. Yeah, that right there. Okay,
Yes.
good, okay.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pavel.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead. Continue, please.
If it's okay with you, I will start my presentation about the genocide of the Belarusian people during the Great Patriotic War.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Prosperity, security, peace, health, life. We take those things for granted. We stop appreciating them when they appear stable, predictable, when they are ubiquitous. But we in Belarus, after 2020, and especially after 2022, realized that these things are fleeting, may be taken away from us, and we learned to appreciate them much more. We ought to cherish them, fight for them, ourselves and our posterity. In this light, I appreciate the idea of my new friend, Mike Cunningham, to include the discussion of genocide of the Belarusian people in his timely and ambitious Geography of Genocide project. Mike worked the miracle of people's diplomacy to make a massive outreach and garner broad support. People, not only in Belarus, but all over the world, ought to know the truth about what happened in Belarus during the Nazi occupation between 1941 and 1944. Crimes of those war years must never be forgotten and must never be repeated. We came to understand that the genocide of the Belarusian people during the Great Patriotic War must be given a systemic legal assessment. So in April 2021, Prosecutor General Office of the Republic of Belarus initiated a criminal case into the genocide of the civilian people living in Belarus during the Great Patriotic War. The Institute of History of our National Academy of Sciences assumed the role of a focal point for research of the historical data concerning genocide of the Belarusian people. Analysts, educators, scientists, local authorities from all over the country are actively involved. The question may appear, why investigate it now after 80 years elapsed since that time? Because the memory of that war for all of us is sacred. Every family has people, ancestors who either fought or died or were killed by the Nazis during the occupation. My father was a partisan and he told me war stories, so I am next to kin to a living witness of that war. The subject is painful to all of us because witnesses of these horrible events are still alive, because we see attempts of the today's offspring of the Nazis to rewrite the history, to distort the great victory, to turn thugs and killers into the righteous. For a number of reasons, we kept silent in the Soviet times and after getting our independence about a number of reasons. It would be politically incorrect. Many collaborators, enablers of the Nazis, were from the former Soviet republics, so we chose not to agitate ethnic hatred. But over the last years, we were not thinking of how to instill rejection of Nazism into children. Instead, neo-Nazis are being bred. One may say that a second Drang nach Osten, march toward the east, is being prepared or even started. In 2020, during the mass protests, it was neo-Nazis, mass protests in Belarus, it was neo-Nazis who formed the nucleus of the strike force aimed to take over power in my country, unfortunately. It was against the background of domestic events that we understood that we overlooked, that we lost something in the education of the youth in ideological work. And we came to understand that someone was trying to rewrite our history for us. So it became important to prevent the penetration of the neo-Nazi ideology into Belarus. One of the proposals for the president was to initiate a criminal case into the genocide of the Belarusian people. It is incumbent upon us to tell our people the truth, fully and straightforwardly. People must see what Nazism really is. Just a little bit of history. Long before the war, the Nazi Germany had worked out plans to commit genocide against the Belarusian people. These plans were part of German legislation. German Plan Ost of March 1941, Order on Military Jurisdiction in the area of Barbarossa of May 1941, made atrocities against civilians as part of state policy of the Reich, and provided for the acquittal of soldiers of the crimes committed. According to the Nazi documents, the territory of Belarus was subject to settlement by the Germans and incorporation into Nazi Germany. The population of Belarus and other occupied territories should have been totally killed. Small percentage of residents, including the Belarusians, between 10 and 15% only, should have been turned into slaves. Those slaves were supposed to be killed anyway, but later. I will read you the excerpt from a pocketbook of a German soldier. I quote, "You have no heart, no emotions. You don't need them in war. Destroy in yourself pity and sympathy. Kill all Russians. Soviets, do not stop. If you have before you an old man or a woman, kill. This will save you from death, secure the future for your family and eternal glory for you." End of quote. How is that not genocide? Citizens of the Soviet Union, including the Belarusians, were subjected to all forms of genocide as defined by the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide of December 9, 1948. Actually, we plan our next Belarus event on Geography of Genocide project on December 9. It will be symbolic to mark the 75th anniversary of that important document. The course of the investigation. The investigation is a nationwide project. All our prosecutors are involved in it. During the occupation, an entire Belarus was turned into one gigantic brotherhood grave. There is no district of Belarus where there are no graves, where mass killings did not occur. Burial sites were discovered following the testimonies of living witnesses, their relatives, and study of National Archives of Belarus, of the KGB and Interior Ministry of Belarus, and of other countries, primarily Russia. Prosecutors locate the place, do the excavations, remove the remains, conduct expertise, and organize events to commemorate the memory of the deceased. Educational and ideological work is then carried out with local school children visiting such places. The work on the burial site is not finished until everything is discovered, documented, analyzed, and immortalized. Over 300 settlements, I repeat, 300 settlements. And this is the most recent number coming straight from the Prosecutor General of Belarus, Andrei Shved. This number, 300 settlements, shared the fate of the village of Khatyn and were completely destroyed together with their inhabitants and were not revived after the war. They were wiped off the face of the earth. Before the initiation of the criminal phase, that number was 186. So over 100 new such settlements were discovered, and they will soon be added to the list. Another new figure. Prosecutors have discovered over 1,700 settlements and villages which were destroyed by the Nazis and their collaborators. Altogether, more than 11,000 settlements and villages were completely or partially destroyed. Over 3 million of Soviet citizens were killed on our territory, including Belarusian nationals, prisoners of war, and other persons who fled from the occupied territories to Belarus. Every third person who lived in a pre-war Belarus died during the war. Over 70 additional death camps were discovered by prosecutors. Altogether, over 580 death camps were functioning in the Belarusian territory. Over 580 death camps. No other state had such number. The results of search operations, including excavations in places of mass extermination of the population, are a terrible confirmation of the atrocities of the Nazis. In fact, a people-killing conveyor was established on the territory of Belarus. Prosecutors also discovered over a dozen of killing operations. Over a dozen of new killing operations previously not discovered. Altogether, the Germans and their collaborators conducted over 140 killing operations through the territory of Belarus during the war. Such operations continued virtually till the last day of occupation and until Red Army liberated Belarus in 1944. From the last trove of documents we received from the Russian archives, we learned about a killing operation that no one knew before, called Monkey in a Cage. The Nazis named all their operations with extreme cynicism. Winter Wonder, Hunt for Rabbits, Harvest Festival. So, Monkey in a Cage. Think about it. They considered us as secondary degree people, as outcasts, as animals. We got it from German documents. During that operation only, in 1944, in the modern Belarusian region of Vitebsk, a number of settlements were destroyed and at least 14,000 people killed. Just one death squad operation meticulously recorded. You know that Germans are good at it. A newly discovered method of mass killings, spraying poisonous chemicals from airplanes. It was also revealed from recently found Russian archival documents. Up to date, over 17.5 thousand living witnesses were interviewed by investigators. 17,500 living witnesses, with more than 7.7 thousand of them prisoners of death camps. Every interview is videotaped. Their testimonies will be saved forever. The prosecutor's office asked their colleagues from other countries of the Commonwealth of Independent States to help locate living witnesses of the war. They will be interviewed and videotaped in those countries, as well as to recreate the entire objective, unbiased picture of what transpired. Not only the Nazi invaders, but also their accomplices from among the nationalist formations from a number of Eastern European countries, as well as their Eastern European allies, took part in the genocide of the population of Belarus. Many surviving witnesses of the genocide recall that collaborators were often even more brutal than the Germans. For political reasons, some Western countries do not cooperate with Belarus. Some countries have Nazis raising their ugly head. So why would they cooperate? They destroy wartime monuments to Soviet liberators while glorifying Nazism. They legalize Nazi military formations, Nazi insignia, allow neo-Nazi marches. But we are in touch with our Latin American countries. Germany has responded and sent us post-war court sentences on Nazi criminals issued by German courts. The Belarusian people fought selflessly during the war against the Nazi criminals. However, there were traitors in the service of the punishers who thus realized their own ambitions, selfish goals and interests, as well as those who craved violence. It is extremely important for us to discover the names of all punishers from all death squads killing civilians, starting from June 22, 1941, to establish the fault of each one of them. And our courts must issue verdicts based on sufficient evidence against all murderers, even if they are dead. Crimes against humanity have no statute of limitations period. A law is being drafted that will allow us to hold in Belarus court hearings in absentia against deceased killers. It is as necessary as ever to establish historical truth. 2 books have been published on genocide against the Belarusian people. I'll show them. The second of them is specifically about death camps. They tell the truth for the first time ever, the truth untold before, that not only Germany was on a spree killing the Slavs. These were Austrians, Hungarians, French, Finnish, and others. We received responses and comments on the books from Germany, Argentina, Brazil. We have to admit, fascism was not defeated in 1945. Tens of thousands of Nazi criminals found their refuge in Western countries. They raised new generations of people with Nazi ideology. And if we don't know our history, if we choose to ignore our history, it will be rewritten by such people against us and to suit their needs. Our adversaries will tell that no Nazi crimes occurred in Belarus. Members of death squads of One Nation call themselves volunteers. They hanged, burned, tortured, gassed, shot innocent people. But they were volunteers. Other volunteers appear today. What do they bring us? Democracy. The criminal case of genocide of the Belarusian people during the Great Patriot War and the post-war period continues to be investigated. There will be no more genocide against the Belarusian people. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Apollo. That was very good. I had 2 questions, and then Ben wants to give you guys awards before the other speakers. First question is, could you explain to why you feel so passionate about the revision of history, and why it's so important to make sure that the youngsters today or the students today actually learn correct history?
Students and youngsters should know the truth about history because it should not be repeated. We have found recently, I won't name the states, I want to stay out of greater tough and delicate political issues, but people in some other countries, including our neighbors, those people, those young people easily absorb nationalist ideology. It's easy because it's extreme, it's simple, and it hurts not only those people and their mentality, but it hurts those nations. It hurts their future. So we don't want that. We want to tell people the truth. The same as you do in America through this project in particular. The same you do through explaining everything about your history, including the dark pages of your history. So that's what we are trying to do in Belarus. We never close our eyes and try to lie about what happened in our territory. And we had a lot of dark pages. Why are we so passionate about discovering genocide? Exactly in order to avoid the repetition of history, in order to avoid the Nazis raising their ugly heads, as I said in my statement.
Okay, very good, Pablo. Before we get to the other speakers, we have some awards that Ben wants to hand out. So I'm going to turn it over to Ben. Let me share the screen and we'll mail these to you and to them on Monday.
Thank you.
Mhm. Trying to get to where it works. How did you do it before when you worked it? Okay, just a second. Go. What happened? Can you still see us?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, good.
I don't know if you all can see the screen with the document, but we're really pleased to offer the honorary doctorate for the participation in the geography of a genocide project to Yuri Klimenko, Alexander Leisdev, Elena Kulinich.
She's here.
Yep, I saw Elena. Oleg Rognostikov, Alexei Yaroto, that was a duplicate there, and Dr. Alexander Filippo. Thank you all.
Exactly.
Thank you.
We wanted to make sure we took
Hello,
care of
dear
that.
colleagues. Thank you very much for this.
We thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure working with Pablo and getting to at least email you guys. Now meeting you live like this. It's a very thrilling experience. Pablo, now if you want to continue with introducing the other speakers in order, we appreciate it. Okay, come on here.
Actually, I let them introduce themselves because I don't have the agenda in front of me. There were several agendas, and
Okay.
I didn't have a chance to present.
Let's pull it up.
Can we continue? Pavel,
Yeah.
yes?
We're going to go with the Holocaust in Belarus, the Museum of Jewish History and Culture in Belarus video.
Maybe I'll start with some words.
Yeah.
Good morning for those who are in Texas and good evening for those who are out of Texas. I represent today the Union of Jewish Public Associations and Communities. And actually it is an umbrella organization which unites more than 40 Jewish organizations, non-religious organizations in Belarus. Actually, our spheres of activities are Jewish history, culture, and traditions, and also Jewish heritage preservation and everything connected with Holocaust. We also have a special project to memorize all the victims of Holocaust on the territory of Belarus, and annually we install about from 8 to 10 monuments on the places of mass killings of Jews during the war. And our special project is Jewish Museum, the Museum of Jewish Culture and History. And actually, I think that everything which is connected with Holocaust as a part of genocide will be presented by my colleagues, and they will tell you everything. And I think that today's conference is a great initiative, and we appreciate it a lot. And we appreciate all the initiatives which tell the world about the tragedy, about the catastrophe. And now I would like to give a word to Oleg Lashitsky, or we should start with the video about the museum, as you like.
Let's start with the discussion first.
Yeah, we could go to the video at the end, or you could start with video at first, wherever you feel more comfortable with. Video would be great, and then we'll go to speech.
Oleg, I'll give you the word. You will continue, okay? Can you hear me? Oleg, microphone.
Hear me? I will start with video about our museum or Holocaust.
Maybe we shall start with a short video about our museum, and then you will continue about Holocaust, okay? Oleg, do you have the option to share the screen?
Yeah. We got multiple screen share.
Thank you.
So the Zoom setting, they just-
Oleg, if you have some difficulties with the video, you can start with your presentation, and then later you will show the video, okay?
Could it be just the setting that you project, or you want the thing like when you used to be connected to a projector? Is it function you played or something like that?
Oleg, we can see the screen, but we cannot hear the sound.
But we didn't touch anything.
Colleagues, sorry for some technical issues, as Oleg today is in Israel. He's at the conference on Holocaust, and they're from the hotel. They're taking place not from Belarus, and maybe there are some difficulties.
Wait, no.
Okay, good.
No, you were muted. You can talk.
Okay, yeah, it's no problem. If we can't see it, just send it to us and we'll embed it.
Олег, ты можешь просто выслать потом в общей почте видео, а сейчас ты можешь продолжить презентацию, потому что нет звука.
Sorry.
Yeah, and we can't understand him as you can't either when he's
Yeah, I
speaking.
suggest him to send the video for you could be introduced to the museum and just to continue his presentation.
Right, that'd be good. Thank you.
Олег, прием, ты нас слышишь?
Но не отчетливо. Видна ли презентация?
Нет, презентация не видна, сейчас видео на экране. Просто сверни видео и включи презентацию. В чем у тебя проблема?
Написано, что демонстрация экрана приостановлена.
Так, у нас она все еще есть. Ты можешь продолжить с выступлением, потому что, наверное, какое-то все-таки зависло видео. А теперь все хорошо.
Теперь видно? My name is Oleg Lashinsky. I will tell you in short the history of Holocaust in Belarus, 1941-44. The murder of more than 60% of the Jewish populations of Europe by the Nazis and during the Second World War has received the name Holocaust in modern history. The Holocaust is also sometimes referred to as Shoah catastrophe. In Hebrew, on the eve of the Great Patriotic War, lived on the territory of Belarus within modern borders. The German Nazi invasion of the Union has the most tragic consequences for the Jewish population of Belarus. Of Europe, the Nazis and their collaborators killed, turned, burned alive over 800,000 people whose only fault were born to the Jewish parents. Belarus became the first republic, the German military machine. Belarusian Jews were the first victims of total extermination. It was here the Nazis first tested the mass murder machine. The militia of the occupiers from other groups of the population was the order that they must marks a yellow page. Already in the first administrative order of 7 July 1991, the commander of the rear armies of the center group, Max von Scheckendorf, among other established insignia for Jews and Jewish women that then 10 years had to wear special signs on their outer clothing Jewish origin. Authorities, representative council or committee Judenrat, which consists of 3 people appointed to settle the Jewish questions in all town and city. According to decision of the occupation authorities, it was called to be responsible of the Jewish populations and the implementation of the orders of the German administrations. His task included registration of the Jewish population, the groups age 15 or 55 for work on the institution of the Wehrmacht. On this photo, you can see buildings of Judenrat, Jewish Council. July 1941, Ilya Mushkin became chairman in Minsk After registration, the Nazis received full information about the Jews. On this data, the Jewish population was divided into 3 categories. First category, which was subject to immediate murder. It included Jews who were able to live and ideological workers, intellectuals, young men. The main part of Jewish populations which the Nazis planned to concentrate in one place. People were driving to isolate areas, streets, and buildings. The Nazis assigned and specialist category professionalism guaranteed the lives of them and their families after the mass execution of all the Jews of the ghettos created everywhere served the Nazis concentration areas for the Jewish populations, so that it will be a lot of people under control and they'll kill them in then 300 placing of mass forced detention of the Jewish population were created on the territory of Belarus. Over 200 existing in the eastern part of the republic, and in the western part 100. Living conditions in all the ghettos were unbearable. Every morning, and hundreds of thousands of people were sent in columns under escort for because they were sent to the hardest, often virtually impossible jobs, dismantling buildable tracks, digging holes, trenches, cleaning toilets, and other. A contribution was collected from the ghetto. They were obligated to hand over silver and other valuables they had, nothing order forbid Jews from changing their place without the permission of the German authorities, using sidewalks, visiting schools, cinemas, libraries, theaters, again, performing kosher slaughter of cattle. Jewish residents of cities and towns did not have to trade. The implementation policy of genocide began already from the first days. Its first victims were Jews, as well as Communist Party and Soviet activists. August 1941, 5,000 Jews in Brest, about 400 in Belarus, 1,075 in Slony, 1,155 people, 4,035 in Lid, 4,005 in Pinsk, 150 in Pogozagorodsky, in Ashmyany and Krupki 527, and other places, cities and shtetls. Only task force B by 1941 in the area of operation Army Group Center killed 17,000 Jews. The Minsk ghetto was one of Europe by the number of prisoners and on the occupation of the USSR. It was on the second place after the ghetto, which numbered 100,000 people. On the photo, you can see documents from National Archives, order Minsk ghetto. About Minsk ghetto. The decision
Олег,
to
твою
create
презентацию не видно. Ты ее выключил, поэтому на фото никто ничего не видит.
the decision to create the ghetto was made 19 July 1941 at a meeting of the Rear Command Max von Schenkendorf and the Supreme Chief of the SS and Police of the General Karl Center. On 20 July, the commandant's officers ordered to relocate to the ghetto became public. That imprisonment in the ghetto was always the stage preceding the destruction that followed outer settlement behind. All the Jews of Minsk had to move to the area designated for them from the north within a 5-day period. Later, this period was exchanged of August 1941. There are reasons to believe that there were two ghettos during the war. The first big ghetto exists from August 1941, 21, 23, 1943. Nearly 40 streets and in the area of Jubilee Square. In addition to Minsk, Jews from nearby places were concentrated in the ghetto as well, in which one of the spouses was Jewish. This is a map of Minsk ghetto. 50 streets and alleys in the area of Jubilee Square. This was the Zonder ghetto, part of the ghetto of on Sukhaya, and thousands of Jews deported by the Nazis from 7 countries of Western Central Europe were placed here. The Zonder ghetto exists from November 1941 1943. From the very first day in the difficult housing situations, there were incredible crowded and sanitary conditions. It happens that several families lived in the same house and sometimes in the same room. There were 1.2, 1.5 per adult in the ghetto, not counting women, old people, and children all lived together in one room. There was a bath in the ghetto. In winter, the water supply did not work. No was used for food and drink. Of course, this led to an increase in effect among prisoners. There were 2 hospitals in the ghetto where were previously busy in the Russian districts in city hospital. As in the entire occupied territory, the Nazis used their tactics. tactic. Before proceeding with the destruction relations, it was necessary to eliminate most active, capable for resistance part of the prisoners, young men. This became the largest on 14, 17, 1941 in the Minsk ghetto. 5,000 people were taken to prisons and shot. So 26, 1941 at 5 o'clock in the morning, Gestapo men and the Lithuanian and Ukrainian arrived in the ghetto in cars. They broke into the prison, shooting men. They took all those Jubilee Square, beat and mocked them, and then took them away in the unknown direction. Them was the father of Genia Greenhouse Zavonian, Aaron Greenhouse. Testimony of Yenta Maiznes and Fanny Burvich up to 5th coach before August 26, whose whereabouts when March 1944. Patients in the ghetto did not receive any food. All workers received 2 grams of bread with sawdust in half and a plate of specified muddy water called soup. From the memories of Mikhail Trester, a former prisoner of the Minsk ghetto. Everything is aimed at depriving a person not only of self-esteem, but also of human appearances, hunger, cold, wrecked, marks, armor, and plates with house numbers on the back and chest. The brine from heron barrels is considerable a delicacy. The pancakes made from potato peelings, kept from old skins at a leather factory. Balanda brought it. This is a memorial. To help his mother and sisters, musicians of the ghetto, Mikhail Trester signed up as a shoemaker. Labor exchange sent him to the boot shop of the Eastern Front Air Force uniform, the former October factory. For almost 2 years, he was taken to work daily and exploited for a bowl of balanda and 50 grams of clay-like bread. How did inflation eat? Mainly due to the exchange of things with the residents of the peasants of the surrounded villages. This exchange was, but the peasant approached the food and the prisoners of the ghetto buyer agreed on an exchange, quickly handed over things and fled in different directions. If the police appeared at the time, then at best they simply took things away. They were shot on the spot. A former president of the Minsk ghetto recalls that the head of the ghetto was a German Bach in 1942. 9 Jewish women for exchanging things for food from Russia in public on the square. Life in ghetto became more and more every day. The Nazis not only destroyed people but also sought to strangle with fear and hunger and any sort of resistance from the life. At first, executions were carried out which were not of a mass nature. Scientism for unwillingness to carry out German orders for steal it of a loaf of bread, then followed the, or in the language of the occupiers, mass actions. About 10 pogroms or actions. The most massive and terrible were the 7 and 20 November 1941, March and 28, 31 July 1942, and the last pogrom 21, 23, 1943, after which the mean ceased to exist. Ghetto prisoners died from beating, bullets, from various diseases, and simply from hunger. By winter, the ghetto looked around the Jubilee Square were destroyed, wooden fences were destroyed, walls were dug up and used for heating. People had for beaten faces. In most houses, the windows have broken glass and they are covered with rags, paper, and dirty old newspaper. The prisoners were attacked, which often ended in murder. During the pogrom on March 41, over 5,000 people were shot and killed. 300 children from a Jewish orphanage in the ghetto. From the memoirs of Genya Gringoslavonia, on the picture, Genya Gringaus, on 2 March 1942, there was a pogrom in which my grandmother Zlata died with her daughter Fredel and her husband and 2 children. Both the dearest and closest people with every program. We came to the house where Zlata grandmother lived in the ghetto on Rakovskaya Street. Margaret, she was lying near the stove, clutching 2 children to her. I will never forget this picture. She left and in the children's hearts. My mother and my oldest brother Sholom loaded her body onto a car, took her to a common grave on Melnikaite Street, where to the victims of Nazism. Monument on Melnikaite Street, Jubilee Square. In such difficult conditions, since the creations of the ghetto, anti-Nazi resistance has begun to its territory as a response to the unhuman and bloody policy of genocide of the Jewish populations in the occupied territory of Belarus. So in August 1941, the first 2 underground groups were formed. The organized underground in the Minsk ghetto were Girsh Sloda, Mikhail Gebelev, Weingaus, Yakov Kirkaeshta. Active work in the conducted by Matvey Pruslin, Naum Feldman, Rosa Хася Пруслина, Лев Кулик, Вульф Лосик, Владимир Кравчинский. On the photograph you can see Vladimir. He was a head of underground groups. And after when he were a partisan in the Detachment, Stalin Brigade, Буденный Detachment. And here you can see Циля Ботвинник, Lev Kulik, head of doctors in the ghetto, and Isai Kazinets, city underground, head of the city underground. The war in 1965, hero of USSR. Slava Minskaya, a former prisoner of Minsk ghetto, and she take part in underground. Катя Туслина. The secretary of the Ground City Committee of the party, Isai Pavlovich Kazinets, maintained close contact with the ghetto resistance members. The only Jewish offered the title of Hero of the Soviet Union. In the Minsk ghetto in 1941-1943, there were 22 underground, 12 Dresden and 10 underground. The anti-fascist underground of the ghetto consists of more than 300 people. At the beginning of September 19, possible to establish contact with the partisan detachment of Sergei. An agreement was assistance of the ghetto underground to the detachment and on sending army from the ghetto to the forest on 13 November. Armed groups, 29 people was able to leave. The group was Fyodor Shedletsky, and the senior of the group was Boris Khaimovich. Khaimovich group became part of Sergeyev detachment. The most important of the activities of the underground in Minsk ghetto were the collections of weapons, war clothes and shoes, typeface for partisan printing club, medicines, and then the organizations of the transfers to the partisans, withdrawal of people to partisan detachments, the rescue and the altering from killing by the Nazis, the work distribution of leaflets, reports of the Soviet information to the documentary evidence of Slava Gebeleva Astashinskaya. You can see Slava Gebeleva Astashinskaya, former ghetto, and she take part in underground ghetto. Ася Пруслина, the underground of the ghetto organized small workshops in illegal apartments. Underground workers collect and use camouflage robes, meetings, and for people living for partisan detachments. Secret soap factories were organized. Weapons were collected in the house of underground workers, working cartridge parts of rifles and machine guns from the city, which they found workshop military units, warehouses. They were carried through secret with soup, which they received for work hidden under their clothes. The ground of the Minsk ghetto maintained contact with some members of the Union from the moment until August 1942, in particular with its first two chairmen, Pushkin and Moshe Yofe. The Judenrat had workshops that were supposed to produce bomb hats and shoes by order of the German authorities. Had its own people in the Judenrat, and they managed to organize the case inside. Nazis got a minimum of products, and the main things was transferred to the partisans. So partisans dispersed in German uniforms, drove trucks to workshops, took out transport of clothes, shoes, soap, and salt. The chairman of the union and Moshe Yofe were subsequently executed by the Nazis for their in underground activities. In March, April 1942, mass arrest of underground members began, according to the Asians of the agents. More than 400 undergrounds arrested. In message 189 of the chief of the security police and date 3 April 1942, it is said of the organizer of the party apparatus of the Jew Mustafa Delikudri Ogli. This is Kazinets, and underground groups of 6 they're from German documents. And of 60 Jews financed party work out weapons and regularly strengthening the partisan detachment. 80 Jews from the ghetto were transferred. Several receipts were found in the apartment of the Jew Delikudri, dressing material and medicines. In addition, a perfectly mounted printing house was liquidated. 8 typewriters were confiscated. On 7 May 1942, 20 were publicly hung and 21 were shot. Among them are Isai Kanet, Каил Чипчин, Зяма Серебрянский, Григорий Рудица, Moses Ikenchik. The underground organization, together with the city underground, organized detachments and brigade of a large number of from 9 partisan detachments and the partisan battalion were created and largely replenished. We are talking about the detachment named after Kutuz and named after Буденный, Лазо, Дзержинский, 25th BSSR, detachment number 106 and other. In graph, you can see on the left side sitting Boris Khaimovich. Boris Khaimovich was commissar of the once partisan battalion, and you can see Sholem Zorin. He was commander Jewish family camp. Sholem Zorin. After the detachment called number 6, Girsch Smoller, he was ahead of Minsk Ghetto round and commissar of detachment Lazo. Stay on the left side, Chaim Fegelman, commissar for 106 detachment, Vladimir Kravchinsky, was a partisan of Budyonny detachment, and he was a leader of combat group. And Naum Feldman was a commissar in the 25th anniversary of the BSSR. At the end of
Oleg, I think that we are already out of time. Maybe our participants have any questions, because we have to give space to other participants.
We have a couple of questions on this end, Elena. Why do you account for so many people not really knowing as much about the genocide in Belarus as we do about other genocides, you know, in other parts that the Nazis completed?
Well, I'll try to answer. I think that Holocaust awareness is... Олег, выключи, пожалуйста, микрофон. Фонит, наверное. Спасибо. I think that Holocaust awareness, for example, here in Belarus, is on a very high level. Mm-hmm. And we are in constant research work, and we always find new ways to present it to the new generation. And today, a lot of work is done by the Jewish organizations, by the government, to present this problem to the wider audience. But maybe people do not want to listen.
Oh, okay.
That's the idea.
Yeah, I think you guys are doing a very credible job, simply because, you know, in the fact that it happened so many years ago, and you don't want to give up the idea that we still need to prosecute this, because I think here in our part of the world, many people have given that up years and years ago. You know, these crimes murders are murders, and there's no statute of limitation. They should be prosecuted, and you guys are doing a marvelous job and should be accredited very much so. I believe that you have a program in which you're doing about graves. Could you explain a little bit about that program?
You know, we have in the Union of Jewish Public Associations and Communities, we have a special project and a special commission on the Jewish heritage preservation. And we are looking for places where mass killing of Jews were proved according to their official documents. And at these places, we erect monuments with the signs of the adequate number of Jews being killed. And we have already installed more than 152 monuments. And just a week ago, we have opened a new one in Belarus. And also we are keeping our traditions, and we have a special project on Jewish cemeteries preservation. As maybe you don't know, but we have more than 800 Jewish cemeteries on the territory of Belarus, and they are abandoned because there are no relatives, and there are cities where there are no Jews, and there are no one to take care of them. And our youth leaders, Jewish youth leaders and non-Jewish youth leaders, are taking care of these cemeteries, and we have already for the last 6 years, together with the Jewish leaders, we took care about 12 Jewish cemeteries, and we continue our project.
That's very good. I was thinking on that lines, because with so much of the Jewish population being killed off, there's very few people left to actually honor the people who have passed through the patriotic war. So that's a very honorable cause, I thought.
Say a word, Mike.
Go ahead.
Mike, if you can hear me, may I say a word? Answering your question.
Yes, go ahead.
So in terms of low public awareness of Holocaust and genocide, I should say that although we have never denied the Holocaust and the genocide, we started to speak about it and added more momentum to awareness campaign just a few years ago. So some of the things, as I mentioned in my speech, some of the crimes we didn't air too much because of political or diplomatic reasons. We didn't want to create additional tensions with the West. We didn't want to, blame our friends and neighbors in some countries of the Commonwealth of Independent States of the former Soviet Union. But now we think that it is time to give the entire truth to the people. And the awareness of Holocaust crime got a more impetus. As Elena has mentioned, we are opening more and more memorials and places to remember about the crimes of Holocaust and genocide and crimes in the Second World War. A big moment was the opening of Trostenets death camp, one of the largest in Europe, and that camp had more than 500,000 people killed there. Wow. It was established just recently. Additional numbers were discovered, and opening of that camp, in the opening of that camp, of that memorial, participated presidents of Germany, of Austria, high-level delegations from Israel, and personally president of the World Jewish Congress, and my president, of course. So that was a big momentum, and we never hide that. To tell you the truth, almost half of the people who lived in Belarus who were killed by the Nazis were Jews. Almost half of them. That's a fact. We don't know the exact figures. They have to be established and counted by historians, by the experts, but this is a huge number. So out of approximately 2 million people, about 1 million was Jews, and a little over 1 million was Belarusians who were killed during the war, not only in the fights, but were fighting as partisans, or people who died in concentration camps and in labor camps, died of the horrors of war, of starvation, hunger, cold, and so on. So one important thing is that we have an intergovernmental agreement between Belarus and the Ministry of Culture of Belarus, to be exact, and the United States Commission for the Preservation of America's Heritage Abroad. This is a body of US government. Its chair is appointed by the president. And with that commission, we worked to catalog all Jewish cemeteries that are responsible for Jewish ancestry, Jewish heritage. So we cataloged the Jewish cemeteries in Belarus with them. We gave them access to these cemeteries, and we started to work on improving those cemeteries. This work has suspended because of COVID and some other reasons, but we hope to reestablish it. We still keep in touch with the members of the commission, and we hope to resume this work at some point.
Those words are very positive, Pablo, and I sure hope so too. It sounds like you're doing a very good job. We got a little technical difficulties on this end, and we're trying to put it back on our big screen. But if you want to go to the next speaker, we'll go to our final speaker. Then we'll have a closing statement after the and some questions that we could all ask each other after that.
Hello, dear colleagues. I present you. My name is Yuri Klimenko. I present Belarus Geographic Society, and I'm vice chairman. I present you Mr. Alexander, Dr. Alexander Filipov, who now have a few words. Sorry, Mr. Yerotov, it's give me information just now that no able because internet connection very not very good. But Mr. Alexander Filipov now will talk, and please, Alexander, I give you.
Thank you very much, Yuri, and good morning, dear ladies and gentlemen. Good evening for those of you who are in Belarus and ערב טוב לחבר שלנו בישראל. Before I start my brief presentation, I would like to thank you for this opportunity, for this invitation to take part in the event and to make my contribution to the study of genocide by Belarus. And since I present two institutions, one is the Belarusian State University of Culture and Arts, and as is already mentioned, the Belarusian Geographic Society, I would like to shed more light on the project on the geographical dimension of the genocide. And Mr. Pavel Shidlovsky has already talked about the very ambitious project initiated by the Office of the General Prosecutor of Belarus, related to the study and identification of all the monuments of all the locations of the atrocities committed by the Nazi occupants during the Great Patriotic War, during the period of occupation. And if you let me share my screen, we'll continue. And one more notice: if you feel or if you have if there is any technical problem, please do not hesitate to tell me. I will try to fix it. So I think the map is visible, and this is part of the project of the Office of the General Prosecutor, which has been already mentioned. And this is a public map belong to the state cadastral agency, so it provides services for different kinds of users in Belarus related to different cadastral issues and activities. And I think it was a very wise decision to include to this map, the monuments related to the atrocities and to the monuments of genocide and the Great Patriotic War in Belarus. So, for example, you can select the specific layer, for example, as I do right now, and you will see the already identified places, locations related to genocide in Belarus. And the blue locations are those which were already known before this project was initiated in 2020. And you see during the Soviet period and the years of independence, the memory about the Holocaust, about the victims of the Great Patriotic War was very important for Belarus, for the Belarusian people and the Belarusian authorities. But unfortunately, we didn't know everything, and too many things had to be discussed and explored. And the green signs indicate those locations which were identified during this very short, relatively short period of 3 years, due to the efforts of the Office of the General Prosecutor and due to the efforts of many governmental and, which is more important, non-governmental organizations which joined the project and joined these efforts, including the Belarusian Geographic Society. Mr. Shidlovsky has already mentioned the book, two books which were published published as a result of this investigation, and this work is continuous. We are expecting more books on this issue, and they're available. Excuse me, it was there was some technical issue. So these books are available online. They're digital copies, so you can download them, and they have English translations, and they contain very important and new data concerning the genocide in Belarus. So I strongly recommend everyone who is interested in this topic. And what is more important, as a as an employee at the Belarusian State University of Culture and Arts, I can say you that this book is included in the curricula of, I guess, all state universities or state higher education establishments in Belarus, and we hope that it will help to raise the awareness of our people about the genocide during the Second World War. Moreover, we're not limited only with the educational sphere, but not only younger generation is important, but other categories of population. That's why it was very important to expand this knowledge of the genocide within the touristic activities in Belarus. And the national agency, the International Tourism Agency, also is very active in promoting the knowledge about the genocide in Belarus, and the information about it is included in all touristic routes in Belarus, even if this or that touristic route is not directly related to the modern period or the Great Patriotic War or etc. But it's very difficult. I think it's hardly possible to find any place in Belarus which will not be to this or that extent related to the consequences of the war or the acts of genocide, and that's why the information about the genocide is included in all touristic routes, and you can take some information from their website. Unfortunately, not everything is available in English. There's problems in Belarus, but in any case, if you know Russian, it will be very useful link for you. A lot of Belarusian non-governmental organizations, they initiated their own touristic routes, which are directly related to the issues of genocide, and they were active in involving young people into these tourism activities. As from the side of our university, in 2019, we published a book related to the cultural potential of the Republic of Belarus, where we tried to categorize all cultural monuments, historical monuments in our country. It was funded by the Ministry of Culture, and it's available free online. But now we are thinking about expanding this edition, making more focus on the geographical dimension of the genocide in Belarus. And as for the Belarusian Geographic Society, we initiated a project on foot around Belarus, which is related to identification of new locations related to genocide and the consequences of the Second World War. It's not only about completely new locations which were not known at all, but it's also about including them into this map, because Not all existing monuments are here, presented here, because after the war, the local people, they tried to commemorate, to preserve the memory of that, yes, and they established their own monuments, which were not always included into some state official lists. For example, I added a new layer related to the monuments of the Great Patriotic War, not the monuments of the genocide. We see there are hundreds of them. Emphasizes the importance of the memory of the war, about the war for us and for the Belarusian people, for the Belarusian government. And the idea of this project on foot around Belarus is to find both the previously not known locations and those locations which are not included into this map, and include them. And within the period about 1 year, we identified in the Malarit region of Belarus, it's the very south of our country, 49 those monuments which are were not included into this map, or which are not known at all. But other non-governmental organizations do very similar job, and we hope that our knowledge about the genocide will be expanded significantly within a relatively short period of time. Thank you for your attention for this short presentation, and I am glad to answer questions.
As a geography professor, what do you feel like the knowledge of a lot of students going into secondary schools in Belarus about geography and the principles of geography, and why geographic principles should be more important?
It's a very good question, because usually the issues of genocide and again the memory about the Second World War in Belarus, they're related more to such subjects as history. We have a specific discipline in all the curricula, all the university's curricula, as the history of the Great Patriotic War. So within the geography, I think done more to include both these aspects into our curricula in geography, particular at schools, and that's also a task for our society.
Okay, now I'm fairly familiar with migration patterns and different things. Did any of the Khazars, or when the Khazars kind of fell apart, did any of those people come to Belarus and parts of the Ukraine, or no?
Excuse me, there were some problems with internet connections. You disappeared.
Okay.
Can you repeat the question?
Okay, yes, I'll be glad to. The Khazars, the group of people that were nomadic people that settled around the Black Sea, when their empire fell apart, did any of those people end up coming to Belarus?
I think a difficult question, because what was the name of the nomadic people?
Oh, okay. I'll ask a different type of question then.
No. It's because again, because I missed the name of
Khazar. Khazars.
Khazars. Okay.
Khazars. Okay. Khazars. Okay.
Khazars. Okay. Sorry. So there's no, we don't have any monuments related to Khazar people, and I think most of the Belarusian will be an absolutely terra incognita, talking about the Khazar people and Khazar culture. Even as far as I know, even for the Jewish community in Belarus, maybe Alona will correct me, it's not a very familiar question, but definitely it's out of agenda of the.
Oh yeah. I was asking you just from a geographic standpoint. Okay, now why did the Germans want the Belarusian land?
Okay, if this is related to Khazar questions, I would say that they were speaking more about Gothic tribes. Goths were really present in the southern areas of Belarus. That was a part of the German propaganda that these lands, including the Ukrainian lands, are a part of Vaterland, of like German native lands inhabited by German tribes many centuries ago, but only the southern parts, and we have archaeological sites belong to the Goths tribes in Belarus. But actually, when they were speaking about like this drunk nach Osten, like the movement to the east, they were not speaking only about the original lands, which is a part of propaganda, but it was the second part of propaganda was the theory of Lebensraum, of like vital space for the German nation, and it was had very strong cultural roots in like geopolitics, in the European culture, European history, and so on, so on. They had many arguments, quasi scientific arguments about German culture is higher and German population is has more density in Germany than in other countries. That's why support the highest cultures, you need more lands and so on, so on. And it was a very famous report to Hitler that the German lands cannot support the growing population, and they want to survive, they need new lands. It was like, again, quasi-economical accounts. So if you read their literature, it's like it really affects your mind from how people were pragmatic about destroying the whole nations, pursuing their interests, and that was a part of like their plan of expanding on the east.
Okay. What got you interested in geography in the first place?
Me or like
Yeah,
US?
you.
I'm more interested in the preservation of cultural heritage.
Okay, good.
Since it's my part of my job, and I'm a member of the National Committee with cooperation of UNESCO, so we work on preservation and promotion the cultural heritage of Belarus, traditional culture, but as well alongside with the traditional culture, the monuments of the genocide as well, because they're also included in our list of cultural and historic monuments protected by the state.
So it's your responsibility, you feel like, to preserve the heritage of what took place there in your country, and then the genocide fits as part of that, correct?
Yes, definitely.
Well, this has been very interesting, and I really appreciate your speaking. And we have a little wrap up here, I guess, on our end in a moment. Do you guys have any questions over? One more thing. Tell us a little bit about your university.
Belarusian State University of Culture and Arts.
Okay. And what do you do in that position? Or what?
My position is the director of the Institute of Continuous Education, so I'm responsible for further research and advice training for all adult students who work in the sphere of culture in Belarus. As well, we provide the Minister of Culture with analytical information related to different spheres.
Okay, and my last question would be, why is heritage important?
Why heritage important is a question for the whole conference, let's say.
That's what I'm saying. Tell me why you got this avenue here. Tell me why heritage is so important.
For us, it's important because it helps us to sustain our identity, our identification, to preserve our past and to distinguish Belarus from all others. For us, it's a very important part of the heritage, which is emphasized in all our public documents.
Well, Professor, what happens to a country when they loses its identity?
I think these countries disappear. So they become parts of other countries.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that was part of the Nazi plan of genocide, because alongside with destroying most of the people, the last of them we should, at least they should lose their identity. It was clearly stated in the Nazi documents.
Okay. Thank you so much. Those are very, very clarifying answers, and I really appreciate all your hard work and thank you. We're going to share with you at this time a little bit of the ending deal that we prepared. So let me try to share with you here. And then we're going to take some pictures and call it success, I guess. Okay, let me get back to presentation. Okay, we have a series. We're doing a series of things, and the first thing we're trying to do is about our Edgecide Museum, and we're going to talk about it. We created the first Edgecide. Pablo talked a little bit about it earlier. I think everybody mentioned it, and then our last speaker clarified it really clearly. Is that once you lose your identity, you pretty much lose your country. So it's really important. So I have there won't be any sound, but I will show you these. And this is a tour of our virtual Edgecide Museum. And here is a AI picture of the, oh, went out again. Okay, excuse me, sorry. Okay, introduction to our virtual museum, and you see our intern, Kate there. It talks a little bit about why Edgecide is important, or the killing of knowledge. And if I stop it right here, what we have is we have each one of these you can actually hit on when we have our flip book, and it goes to another video. So here we have a video on what is Edgecide. Then we have a video on the Armenian Edgecide and genocide. And then we have a question, why should we study Edgecide? And evidently we're all talking about it because as you erase our history or rewrite your history, that's basically what we decided Edgecide was. Okay, here's a history. This is kind of fascinating. I did a rough video for a podcast a couple of months back where I listed 300 important people. And in this case, it was Princess Diana, George W. Bush, and actor Ralph Fiennes. And they all have something in common, and I'll tell you about it later. Or you could go watch the video. Okay, this is our state representative, and our state representative, Lulu Forrest, District 51 here in Texas, was talking about how important Edgecide and genocide studies were. There is the mayor of Austin, and we're going to have the mayor of San Marcos on there too. This is actually something that was very important in my life. I used to read this book. They required it in school back before 1984. Obviously, you can see I went to school at that time. And George Orwell wrote this book 1984. But he also come up with a lot of quotes about erasing of history. And he says, in a time of universe deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. And he's basically saying that people that write history control it. And we have a big video on it. Then we have about educational revolution, Edgecide itself. And here's our virtual library. And we put together links on the library for thesis, doctoral dissertations, and different academic things that have to do with Edgecide and rewriting the history. And we're going to incorporate 13 or 14 different ones. So Kate and some of the people that you see here are going to be working on this as well. Okay, now stop this a second. The founders of the virtual museum was myself. Oops. Myself, Ben Ramirez, who you met today, and Dr. Zorian. Okay. And some of the people that are contributors is Dr. Jerry Croft. I'll tell you a little bit more about him later. And Dr. Ruben Galakian. And he's at Yerevan State University, and he is Professor Emeritus at Santa Clara in California. Okay, now you'll notice some people here. They're pretty famous. These are some contributors, and I put some of your pictures up there. And you got Pablo in the middle there. Pablo sent me a vacation picture. I put a little more serious one. And then we also have a contingent of people from that are helping us out from AGBU, AVC, and these are them. We're going to have a really nice ceremony on the 27th. And that's where Pablo is going to be getting a honorary citizen of Arkansas, and it should be from the governor. Okay, now this is our mission. Tells us about the mission of Armenian Virtual College and our mission of World Affairs Council. And these are our exhibits. And what I wanted to show you was these are some notable genocides where we have some videos. You can go to it. These are some educational things that we did. These are some of our programs that we do internationally. We have some mock trials and moot courts. We've done genocide trials, and this is the case of the genocide trial against Talat Pasha. Again, like what you guys are pursuing in Belarus, it was 120 years ago on March 15th of 1921, when Talat Pasha was killed by a Armenian on the streets of Berlin, and then when he went to trial, he was found innocent. So I got that movie, and here Armenian genocide, and then Belarus. That link will take you to a Belarus page where we're going to develop a lot of the material and stuff that you're going to be sending us for that December the 9th broadcast. And we're going to put up any links and things that you thought are very important for people to know. So this way they can go from our flip book to, this is video, but they go from a flip book right to your direct access. So we're trying to get the word out there, awareness out there, not so much stuff that we're trying to do, but what you guys are trying to do there on the ground so people can get more to it. And we have people working in all these other countries as well, Armenia and Bosnia. And some of them you notice, like the Circassian genocide, there's no country of Circassia simply because the Russians had kicked them out. Polish, we're working with the Polish government. Not trying to mention the Tatars. Again, the Tatars were all moved in May of 1944. Native genocides, just found out I'm going to give a paper in South Dakota on an Indian reservation this fall on that. The Uyghurs, I found out many years ago that my family actually came from the Uyghurs, and these are virtual tours of other museums, and I think we'll have up your virtual tour. And these are just some videos on the Edgeside itself. Our general information link. How to do peer mediation. I think talking to each other is very, very important. And then we're going to have elected officials and what they have to say. So we're going to tape some stuff here. Armenian genocide videos. We have quite a few. And then we have some the Holocaust Museum studies, St. Joseph School. There's a Greek Ambassador Awards. It's coming up in September, and the honorary doctoral degrees that we're bestowing on people. And that's basically what we're trying to do. And that's our museum. The other part I wanted to show you very quickly was the Okay, how did I get the other one? Is our new one called Genocide, a Controversy. And this one is really cool, I thought. I'll try to get it here. Here we go. Okay, this is, we look at a controversy, but we're looking at from a global viewpoint. And my good friend Pavla mentioned that there's a school in Minsk. So we would like to use that high school in Minsk, a high school in the Far East, a high school in Texas, and then a high school somewhere in Europe. We're going to talk about in a moment. And here's what we're going to look at. It's called Geography of a Controversy. And we take different controversies and we let students actually discuss the issues. Now that could be fairly dangerous. Here is the people that contributed here, myself, Dr. Croft, and Mimi. Okay, now we have some use of nuclear weapons. I think that could be an interesting topic. Who killed JF Kennedy, John Fitzgerald Kennedy? Origin of mankind could be interesting topics. We have videos and stuff up there. That's just for classroom use. We have look at the Battle of Gallipoli from 3 different points of view. I do have something about we land on the moon. That's just something you can discuss. Recession. Who built the Great Pyramids, solar flares. We're talking about climate change. Kennedy, who did it? Can we stop homelessness? What happened at Roswell? Aliens. That's always interesting from different points of view. And is America on the brink? Kind of interesting here in the States. Now, what we're going to try to plan on, and I'll stop right here. How it works, we would have an expert and the students would listen to an expert. Of course, this is in English, and we can try to get translated, and they would give a video on one point of view. Then the students would discuss it in class and they could come up with any point of view that they want. It could be pro or against or both. Benefits the student, it has classroom discussion. Students create a project inside the school, then students present to themselves, and then they present it in an international video back to the expert. So the expert asks them questions and stuff like that. And we're going to prepare and do 3 of these for next year. So I picked up 3 topics, and this is what I want to try to do. The first one in the fall is what happened at Roswell. The overarching umbrella would be what is actually going on with aliens or extraterrestrials, or whatever you want to talk about that. And in the spring, we're going to have another one, and it's called "Is America on the Brink?" And this guy came out and said, you know, America's best days are behind and all this kind of stuff like that. I thought that would be kind of interesting in the spring because we're right in the middle of the campaign for the 24 election. And as you know, here in America, elections are becoming like cartoons, so it's kind of interesting. And then we're going to do one in November, which is going to be really special. And this one, we may get to present it some things. We're going to try to look at what happened in Dallas, November 22nd, 1963 at 12:30 p.m. It was a Friday afternoon and shots rang out. We don't know how many shots. We don't know what direction. And 60 years, it'll be 60th anniversary on that date. So I thought if we could watch the video, do this, and then try to get into a major conference, this will be very nice. You could have some students from Minsk doing that. Now, remember that storyline, Minsk has a tie-in, which I don't really want to discuss at this point. Like Pablo said, we'll take interesting things looking at. But you can come up with anything you want to. That's not a problem. We're not telling the people what to say. We're just trying to get the people to think on it. But since it's the 60th anniversary and there's going to be some major conferences, Jerry thinks that we can be able to present at a major conference. So we can get some high school students from 4 different parts of the world actually presenting some interesting things on a international conference dealing with a murder that's a mystery, which is a controversy. Okay, and if the past is erased, the eraser will be forgotten, the lie becomes the truth. And that's basically, Pablo was quoting almost that verbatim at the beginning with George Orwell. So those are some of the things we're looking at. We're also going to have within a week geography, just set up about geography and talking about historical preservations and trying to work with you guys and try and work with some other schools on preserving different statues and different things in their country. I think these are important aspects of learning, and they all fit in together because everything's kind of being erased. Are there any questions over any of the stuff that we're trying to do?
I have a brief comment. Of course, I will be happy to get in touch with other institutions and schools and see if they are willing to engage in these subjects. These subjects are for well-grown up people, but let's see if the students are ambitious enough to engage in their discussion. The other thing is that if we conduct another session, another educational event on December 9, it will be an important anniversary, the 75th anniversary of the Genocide Convention, and maybe we will have like someone, an expert, who will speak about that convention, how it is implemented, either from us or from you, so we can think about it and add this topic in our December event, among other things.
Okay, that sounds great. We're just trying to do some stuff for the classroom too. I was thinking about, like that school in Minsk, something that wouldn't be too terribly difficult, but something that would be very upscale, like international. I know we had a few difficulties today, but we can always have backups. If we send in the video and stuff ahead of time, we could play it from this end, that kind of stuff, that wouldn't be a problem. Overall, I think it was very successful today. I really appreciate the hard work that you guys are doing. It's just really amazing. I cannot imagine when in my youth, I would never imagine knowing anybody from Belarus, let alone being able to work with them. So this is kind of very good. I've always had a big passion for genocide studies. Full disclosure, my family came from Armenia. Much of my family is historically Jewish. I'm not, but my family, I can trace my family roots to X-Larks. So they are very important. And much of my family were in the Old Testament as the Maccabees and, and things like that, although that's not the real name, but anyways, you can understand. So that part is very good to actually see. And I really appreciate you guys doing this today. I think we may have closed a little bit early because we've had just one kind of problem after another. We were going to try to take a group picture. I may just try to take a couple snapshots off of this so we can put the pictures up. But, this has been a fantastic start. I think we got some awareness out there. We're going to share with some of the people, and we'll put it up on our pages, and we'll put it up on the World Affairs Council and our museum page and stuff. Some of the work that you're doing, I think you can see a direction that we're going to try to go here in the States. We're going to start working with some different states here in the United States, like Utah and a couple more. We're going to try to push out some more to try to get, our 20 states have developed they put legislation in place. We put legislation in place in 2019. We just never developed any curriculum. So our problem is that now we're trying to develop the curriculum so that people can learn. And you guys are helping out, and this is really going to increase our awareness.
It's very important to continue.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, friends. Thank you very much. I just want to send you words of appreciation every time we get the space to transfer, to spread the information about Holocaust, about genocide, about everything important and all things we're proud of doing in Belarus, out of Belarus. And when we find right people who can listen and who can hear us, it is a great event. Thank you very much for this experience. Thank you, our colleagues from the Geographical Society. Thank you very much. I think that we can be in touch. Unfortunately, we haven't been before, but still we have much time. And thank you very much. We will be always very glad to give you some ideas and any assistance you need and spread the information about our work.
Okay, yeah, we may try to take a picture here too, okay? So everybody get up there.
I know, it's there.
Yeah, y'all stay right there, don't move. We're trying to take a group shot without y'all knowing it.
Make that black box any bigger.
Yeah, I can, just a moment. I don't want to say we live in a third world country, but technology here in the States has almost gone third world. Yes. Okay, go. There we go. Okay. Now
Good.
go up. Y'all go up there too. Yeah. No, not me. Okay, everybody. Y'all get closer. Yeah, y'all get. Ben, you get in there too. Let me take it. No, it's good. No, Ben. No, Ben, get in there.
Two of y'all in this picture.
No. I don't need me.
Yes, you do.
No,
Yeah, we do.
unfortunately.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
Oh,
You
my.
see, that's Court Lucas. You should be there.
Yeah, that's my comment.
Or I should say Carlos. It's a sorry.
Yeah. Take one. Here, let me just stay down here and take the picture like that. I'll take a picture like that. Okay. Okay, now we have pictures of everybody. So that works out really well. Does anybody want to have any more closing comments?
One thing maybe we can share the parts or the whole of our presentations so that we keep the record and can have reference to what was discussed. I have my presentation ready and updated, and I'll be able to email it to you. So if other parties feel okay with that, or maybe not the entire presentation, but some basic notes and points, that would be great. And you might want to include that in your internet resource about EduSite.
Yes, I'll be glad to do that. If everybody could just email me their presentations sometime next week, I'll put it up and I'll disseminate it for everybody. Okay?
Thank you. We'll also send the video and the presentation, the text.
Oh, good. Very good. Thank you so much. Okay. We'll say goodbye from here, but we'll meet again before December 9th. We'll be in contact with each other. Remember on the September 27th, we're having a big awards deal. I'll talk more about Pablo. He's be getting an honorary doctoral degree from Armenia, and we're trying to make you honorary citizens of Yerevan and all kinds of different things like that. They've been very supportive in our virtual projects, and maybe we can do some other things. I know your president was made an honorary citizen of Yerevan a year ago, so you'll be on the same level as your president. So that would be like really good. Okay, you can't go a bit worse than that. Okay, thank you so much, and have a great evening. The rest of the evening. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.